Hello there. Well, Boris has painted himself onto the ropes, hasn't he? So, Boris Johnson is on the ropes for not obeying his own rules, as a picture emerges of him, resplendent in Santa hat, holding some sort of virtual quiz night with aides last Christmas, but with two of them sat in the same room as him. And coming after the other recent stories of Downing Street frolics, this has only put the backs of ordinary people up further. So if the story around this new image is true, if he did break his own rules, then Boris will be coming under intense pressure right now. And although the polls aren't always dead on accurate, they are showing that the two-party state is in operation, as the Tories are now on the wane and Labour is fast picking up support and in the lead. And even Boris's own backbench MPs are saying he's mucked it all up and he's lost the dressing room, presumably meaning he's even lost the support of his own team. So is it a case of, come in Boris, your time is up? And now that the Education Secretary Nadhim Zahawi has come to his support, saying that no rules appear to have been broken and that many people would have been doing something similar last Christmas, he might find that not to be the help he thinks it is. When people are having a miserable time of it, during a period when everyone should be suffering equally, they don't generally appreciate it when what they see as the wealthy, privileged and powerful people appear to be having a jolly good old time of it. But we have to remember that back in April time of 2020, Boris was very ill in hospital with it and did gain support. So what made him so relaxed about it just a few months later at Christmas? And if he thought he and those around him were safe, then why not others in similar circumstances? Or has he just got a short memory, perhaps? And as soon as the leadership wobbles, we instantly hear of stories of several Tory MPs manoeuvring themselves to the fore to replace him. More on that in a moment. And I'm thinking of doing another vid later today on who I think would be the best bet for the Tories to replace Boris with. But it's not just the likes of Partygate and Wallpapergate that have placed the PM firmly on the ropes. No, there's also the issue of the new restrictions, the much discussed Plan B he's placing on the people of England in response to the latest flavour of the lurgy to hit the nation. Because many on the Tory backbenches believe that these new measures are over the top, and at least 60 have vowed not to support them when they come up for the vote next week. That could put Boris in the position of relying on Keir Starmer and his Labour Party to get those restrictions voted through. Something they have gleefully promised to do. One, because they are more dictatorial in nature than the Tories, and two, it will put a sizable split into the Tory ranks. But while that goes on, there are others who believe these new restrictions do not go far enough. No, the scientists, together with many politicians, and seemingly backed just about 100% by the press, want to see far more restrictions placed on society, even to the extent of pushing the non-compliant portion of the population completely out of society. About 5 million persons according to official figures. And this is the side that Michael Gove and Conservative peer Baroness Brady are backing, and he says that action is absolutely required, while she says the non-compliant should be forced to live a miserable and more expensive life. Extremely divisive language, and she should know better. The trouble for these more zealous types, though, is that the new flavour of the lurgy doesn't appear to be as energetic as its predecessors. In fact, the news coming out of South Africa, where it was first identified, point to it being more wobbly blancmange-like than the double foul curry laced with Carolina Reaper chilies type that the politicians, scientists and press want to see. You can imagine them standing around it as it sits there like a blancmange. They prod it and it just wobbles a bit. No animation, no leaping about. But they still have to shout and scream at the people to stay back and cower in the corner, just in case, telling them how potentially damaging this blancmange could be, as they stand there watching it, hoping and praying that there's something gestating inside the blobby blancmange, getting ready to emerge, screeching alien-like to glue themselves to the faces of the unwary masses. The trouble is that time is moving on, and there is so far no Ridley Scott-inspired fiends spewing forth from the blancmange, leading to people rightfully starting to ask questions about these new restrictions over the presence of a wobbly blancmange. And the people want to come and take a look at the wobbling blancmange and see for themselves. Back, back, shout the politicians, scientists and press, prodding the blancmange harder, hoping to turn the wobbles into something more sinister, or make it appear more sinister. But when it doesn't, then they will want to smash and obliterate the blancmange before people realise what's going on. Then they will cast about for a brand new dessert to brandish and wave in our faces. They'll start prodding the promising looking jelly, no doubt. All the while trying to force people to buy more and more lemonade to ward off the evil blancmange. Or am I just being cynical here? Now, question. Why is everyone getting so worried about things kicking off in the Ukraine? But before I get to that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. So why are people concerned over the Ukraine? Because unless both Moscow and Kiev know something our scientific modelers don't know, thousands of their own troops will be wiped out or seriously ill with the lurgy well before any fighting occurs. All that cold weather and huddled together in huts, tents and trenches. Something that could be made worse with a Bora wind. Surely if the UK modelling is correct, the Russian and Ukrainian armies should be seeing decimation within their ranks. And I will also point out that many experts believe that the movement of troops after the First World War caused the spread of the last one, the Spanish variant. Surely we should be vilifying the Russians for potentially causing it to get worse, especially given Russia's reportedly high scepticism and sluggish uptake. Or will they be engaging in 2-metre to 2-metre combat? Or does the modern type of lurgy only affect schools, pubs, restaurants, large venues and theatres? And you also have to wonder that if there is a conflict, will the casualties be recorded as down to war or within 28 days of the lurgy? Anyway, back to the Prime Minister. As I said earlier, reports indicate that some Tory MPs are getting ready to take advantage of any weakness of grasp on the keys to number 10 that Boris shows. And the Times points to a few potential contenders. Priti Patel, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, Michael Gove, Nadhim Zahawi, Jeremy Hunt, Tom Tugendhat and Matt Hancock. Now Priti Patel does talk a good talk, but so far she's not walked a good walk where the English Channel red carpet is concerned. And as she's had 2 years to make loads of promises after loads of promises and not get to grips with it, then I don't see that particular situation, a situation that is core to the Brexit vote, I don't see that Priti as Prime Minister would change that situation one single jot. And I think many Tory members and voters would agree with that. And as to Matt Hancock, how could he possibly be in the running to replace a PM who broke his own rules? Because Hancock was up to his neck in breaking the rules too. Caught neatly on spy cam or security camera or whatever for all the world to see. Only an idiot would think it a good idea to replace a rule breaker with a rule breaker. So what's your opinion on Boris staying in number 10? Please like and comment below. Please subscribe and like this video, buy a mug and support me on Patreon or PayPal, and thank you for watching.